You can take me on the road, but you can't take me away from Swagoo. Marcus Spears joining us for his latest installment of
Truth and Dare.
That's right. He's going to give you one truth and issue a dare for championship weekend. Where you at, Marcus? Who's your truth for?
Hey, my truth is if the San Francisco 49ers are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in this NFC Championship game, George Kittle is going to have to be the focal point for this offense and lead this offense in receiving. I think he's the safety valve for Brock Purdy. But not only that, he's going to have to make some explosive plays. And we've seen their rapport continue to build as Brock Purdy has taken over this starting job in San Francisco. But I believe this is the game that you try to exploit those matchups favorable for George Kittle with the linebackers of the Philadelphia Eagles of Kazir White, TJ Edwards, or you see if you can get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on him, who gives up height and weight to George Kittle. He's going to have to lead this team in receiving in order for them to win this game.
Kittle has 7 receiving touchdowns since Brock Purdy took over, by far the most touchdowns for tight end in that span. Okay, Marcus, give me your double dog dare.
I dare Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs to run the football against the Cincinnati Bengals. Not only does it help your quarterback, who's hampered with obviously an ankle injury, but it keeps the ball away from Joe Burrow and this high-powered offense for the Cincinnati Bengals. Last year, when the Cincinnati Bengals beat them in the AFC Championship, it was because Andy Reid wanted to drop back and throw the football, and Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, had plans for that. You were not going to do it. So Isaiah Pacheco, the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, is explosive. He plays at a very high level. They've shown a willingness to run the football this year. And I think not only do you do it to help Patrick Mahomes with his ailment and this offense in general, but you keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands with those explosive weapons that he has on offense. I dare Andy Reid to lean into the run a little bit more.
Well, here's the thing. There's numbers to bear that, right? Marcus, the Chiefs are 10-1 this year. When they rush for at least 100 years, here's the caveat. That lone loss to the aforementioned Bengals. Hey, we're here in Knoxville. Your very first collegiate game ever was here. Is that right, Marcus?
Yeah.
Anything you want me to tell
Absolutely. And we lost.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We lost that game, El. We lost that game, but we met Tennessee again in the SEC Championship and beat them and stopped them from going to the national championship. How you doing, Knoxville?
Let's go. I'm going to tell them 20 years later how you like them apples, old Rocky Top. Let's go, Marcus Spears here on Sports.
Hell, let's go Conference Championship Sunday for the second straight day. Patrick Mahomes, a full participant at Chiefs practice as he recovers from a high ankle sprain. Great sign as he gets ready for a Bengals defense that is feeling good after beating Buffalo. Mahomes today on the progress of the ankle.
I thought I had a good day yesterday. Obviously, things you had to work through here and there. But overall, probably better than I expected, being able to go out there and throw the football around and get the reps in that I needed to get in. Today will be another test. It's a little bit harder practice, a little bit more speed. We've done a lot of ankle and knee and foot stuff, especially after my last few injuries I've had. And I think that's prepared me to bounce back quickly here and be able to be in a good spot. I think progressively I've gotten better throughout the week. And I'm just going to try to keep doing that, keep that same mentality and push it, but then at the same time be ready to go whenever the game comes up.
We're joined now by Michelle Steele, who's joining us from Arrowhead Stadium, and we just heard Mahomes' account of how he's progressing, but you've been there all day. What did you witness from Mahomes at practice today?
Yeah, well, you know what, El? Ankle watch continues all week in Kansas City, and I can tell you that we don't just have to depend on seeing Patrick Mahomes get down from the podium to get a sense of where he's at with this injury. We did see him do some football activity on the field today at practice, whether that was handing off the football, throwing the football, looking unencumbered in his 3-step dropbacks. He was doing activities that really forced him to push off that right ankle, right? His offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, actually told me jokingly, quote, "I do not know what the biggest reason is for his recovery, but," he said, "I want whatever he is taking." Now, one big caveat to all this, even though Mahomes says himself that he is feeling progression, he is feeling improvement, he did tell us today, people will see on Sunday where I'm at, and I will see on Sunday where I'm at as well. He's just doing the best he can to prepare for the biggest game of the season. One person he is getting advice, though, from, El? Tom Brady. Him and Tom have been talking this week. He's getting some guidance, and I guess anytime you can get advice from the GOAT, you got to take it, right?
Yeah, well, if it's physical advice, we know Tom's way, the TB12 method. Just stretch. Stretch the ankle and you'll be just fine. By the way, the line fluctuating on this one, Kansas City, currently a 1-point favorite. Michelle Steele joining us from Arrowhead with the latest on Ankle Watch.
Hell, that's a lot of pliability. Meanwhile, the first game on Sunday, the Eagles hosting the Niners. Eagles didn't need Jalen Hurts to be 100% against the Giants on Saturday. The MVP finalists still look good after suffering a shoulder injury last month. 154 yards in the air, 34 on the ground, but the threat of his legs helped a running attack that collected 268 rushing yards, averaging over 6 yards a carry. The Eagles have leaned heavily on the ground game this season, recording the 9th highest design rush percentage if you include the playoffs. On Sunday, they'll put their dominant ground game to the test. That Niners rush defense, really good. Both units ranked top 7 in rush yards per game, rushing touchdowns, and first downs per rush this season. Hurts on the challenge ahead.
They're really good all across the board, and I think it starts off with their front 7 and then having a really good defensive back group. They fly to the ball. They're disruptive at every position. They're well coached. They're well coached. So we have a task in front of us. We have a really good challenge, really big challenge in front of us. And as always, we just want to go out there and execute, try and be efficient.
Eagles reporter Tim McManus joining us now live from South Philly. Tim, this is strength versus strength. What are the Eagles saying about this matchup?
Kevin, asked about this Eagles-49ers matchup, Coach Nick Sirianni described it simply as good on good, adding that's exactly what you want for an NFC Championship game. And how's this for good on good? An Eagles offense that rushed for 32 touchdowns in the regular season, third most in NFL history, against a Niners defense that only allowed 16.3 points per game, number 1 in the NFL. Listen to center Jason Kelce talking about this Niners D.
Yes, I think it's the best defense. We played some good ones, but I think overall they're a very, very good unit. They don't really have any weaknesses to exploit. A lot of other teams have really strong players at specific spots, but in other areas you can kind of take advantage. There ain't a whole lot of that on tape. They got good players across the board, great D-line, great linebackers, great DBs. They play fast, they play physical, they run around. They're all in sync with each other.
And here's a matchup to circle with giant red markers. Sacks leader Nick Bosa against right tackle Lane Johnson, who hasn't given up a sack since November 2020, but a tall order as he's dealing with a torn groin in that big matchup. Said center Jason Kelce, these guys are good across the board. Everybody is going to have to do their job. Kevin?
And Bosa led the league with 18.5 sacks. It's going to be fantastic. Philly currently favored by 2.5 points. Tim, thank you so much. Ahead, more from the 49ers side of things, why they're focusing on Philly's pace and the role it will play in San Francisco's chances to move on to the Super Bowl. El?
Kevin, we're following a developing story. Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn staying in Dallas after all. He interviewed for head coaching jobs with the Cardinals, Colts, and Broncos, but told our Ed Werder he has unfinished business here in Dallas. Mike McCarthy was actually asked prior to this news breaking about his job status and those of his other coaches as well. Here's what he said.
He told me a number of times this week that he wants me to coach here as long as Coach Landry did, and I said, okay, it's a long time.
Can you say with some clarity that if Kellen Moore is available to you, that is to say he doesn't get a head coaching job, that he's back as your offensive coordinator?
I know. I really don't want to play this game, today. It's been a long couple of days. So Kellen Moore, and just like the rest of the coaches, will be evaluated.
Again, Kellen Moore interviewing for head coaching jobs, but for now, Dan Quinn says he will be staying. There are many other questions, though, that Dallas has.
Obviously, with all the different interviews, was the number one concern,
20 seconds out
and rightfully so. And it was simple. We're committed to finding a veteran. We didn't get into names. I doubt that he's even studied. He hasn't studied those guys yet, which he's going to start next week. But we didn't get into specifics on names, but it was talked about that we do plan on bringing a veteran quarterback if we can.
It's really hard, Adam, to tell Jets fans right now to relax. What could this hiring mean for the Jets and their quarterback search for a veteran this offseason?
Well, Kevin, this hiring is a gift to SportsCenter, NFL Live, First Take, and Get Up for the next 6 weeks until we get the Aaron Rodgers situation fully resolved when the new league year begins in mid-March. Because this is a situation, clearly, where the possibility that Aaron Rodgers is traded this offseason is real. And the Jets went out and hired a coach that he's close with, a coach that he talks to, a coach that he feels good about in Nathaniel Hackett. Now, I do not believe that that's the only reason that the New York Jets hired him. They hired him on what they believe are his merits. He coached in Jacksonville when that team got to the AFC Conference Championship game. He's done good work, though this past season in Denver was obviously a debacle. But this is a situation where they hired the best man for the job. But he just happens to be good friends with Aaron Rodgers. So let the speculation begin, because it's going to go on until we know what Aaron Rodgers' plans are for the 2023 season.
By the way, Adam, keep in mind, after Hackett left for Denver, Rodgers posted the worst total QBR of his career this past season. So let the speculation continue. Shefty, thank you so much. Let's go back to El.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kebo, we've got Burrow versus Mahomes. Okay, Bengals versus Chiefs, but sign me up for another fourth all-time meeting between the two. Burrow has taken each of the first three matchups. Mahomes has taken at least a touchdown lead in all three of those losses and has led by 14 or more in two of the three. What's happening? Well, the losses are coming from the difference in play in the second half and overtime between the two in their head-to-head matchups. Mahomes has completed just 57% of his passes while posting a 30 total QBR in the second half and OT in those games. Burrow, on the other side, completing 77% of his passes, posting a total QBR of 69, as we officially say hello to our Bengals reporter, Ben Baby. He's joining us now. And Ben, a little trash talk I'm hearing between these two after the AFC Championship last year. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, El, that rivalry between Kansas City and Cincinnati definitely seems to be percolating, because there's a little bit of jawing going on throughout the week. Today, it was Kansas City linebacker Willie Gay who said that nothing was all that impressive about that Cincinnati offense. And the Bengals had a chance to respond, and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase really didn't bite. I asked T. Higgins why there's been so much banter, and he said that there's been some close games, and that competition level is inciting maybe a little bit of talk between the teams.
Great competition at the end of the day, and I mean, at the end of the day, both teams want to get to the Super Bowl, so it's going to be a lot of animosity and a lot of, talking, but just got to play.
I asked Jamar Chase about that, and he didn't even say that there was a lot of trash talk. In fact, he wouldn't even give Willie Gay a response to his comments. However, he did say that the dynamics seem to be shifting in the AFC. For so many years, Kansas City was atop the conference, and now Cincinnati has a chance to ascend and take the throne. And that's exactly what Cincinnati will be looking to do on Sunday.
Yeah, and then there were two, Ben Baby, because no matter what happens on Sunday, for the fourth consecutive season, the AFC will be represented by either the Bengals or